Hey now, Chris here. Been a real long minute. I want to give you a quick update what's going on with me since I left Kaiser and why I left Kaiser and what I'm doing now. Anyway, my 19-year-old daughter, well, she's 19 at the time, 20 now, she is a type 1 diabetic, and because of that, she spends, I don't know, a couple days a year in the hospital. She was going down to college in Fort Myers, Florida, and it was the first time she was going to be away from her mom. She's been living with her mom for the last 6 years. So in August, she called me and she said, "Dad, I'm nervous about being so far away in Florida, away from mom and you, and what if I have to go to the hospital? I'm going to be alone." So I called my old employer in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I asked him if there was an opening there. This is not in trucking. This is in the aviation industry, charter industry. And he said there was a position available. So I basically gave my notice, 2-week notice to Kaiser, finished up there, put all my stuff in my trailer, and moved down to Fort Lauderdale, which is about 120 miles away from Fort Myers. So I'm far enough away from my daughter that she can have her college experience, but I am close enough that if something happens, I'm an hour and 40 minutes away from getting to her. So as I got down here, I wanted to keep driving as well. So I did find a job at a company called Andrew Distribution, which basically delivers newspapers and periodicals from the printer to the distribution warehouse. It was a night job. It was actually perfect hours. My aviation job during the day was 12 noon till 8 p.m. And then I worked basically 9 p.m. to 2 or 3 in the morning at the driving job. So it was perfect, worked out really well, gave me some extra money and kept me driving. It was actually the first time in my career I've ever pulled a box at a day cab with a 48-foot trailer. I'll show you some pictures of that. But in the meantime, I was trying to transfer my Hazmat endorsement over from my Kentucky license to my Florida license, which they'll transfer all your endorsements except your Hazmat. That you basically have to start all over again. So I took the test again for my Hazmat. I had to do my threat assessment, and there's a new thing you got to do too. Anytime you transfer your Hazmat, you have to take a new driver Hazmat training. So I got that out of the way, and I started applying for hauling gas down here in Fort Lauderdale out of Port Everglades. My goal was to haul aviation fuel to airports out of the port, because I didn't want to have to drive in Fort Lauderdale, Miami traffic and deliver to the little mom and pop gas stations. So I applied to a couple of companies, did some road tests while I waited for my Hazmat to arrive. I had a Hazmat in Florida before, 5 or 6 years ago, and it only took about 3 weeks to get it. From the time I got my threat assessment cleared and all my paperwork in, it took about 3 weeks, but this time it took months. Back in November, I kind of narrowed down the companies I wanted to go with to one. I had stopped and talked to drivers. I did my research on the company. I really liked it. I kind of made a decision that's where I wanted to be. I talked to the recruiter there. She liked my resume and my experience and offered me a position as soon as my Hazmat came in, which we thought was just going to be in a couple of weeks. It ended up taking, I don't know, 3 months, almost 3.5 months for my Hazmat endorsement, my new license to come back. So once I got that set, I let the recruiter know, and there were no seats available. So this is like back in November. So I waited and waited and waited. I had other opportunities to go work for other gas haulers. I didn't want to do it. I knew this was the particular company I wanted to work for. And then finally, just a day after my birthday, May 3rd, she called me and said there's a seat open. Was I still interested? And I accepted the position. I've never done gas hauling in my life. I've never hauled hazmat. Those of you that have followed me know that all I've ever done my entire driving career is open deck. So it's all new to me. Let's see, I started here on the 22nd of May. Was my first day. I got a great trainer. I'm super happy. The guy's been hauling gas for 15 years. I'm currently standing outside what's called a loading rack. I'm not allowed on the property yet. You have to do a whole evaluation and a bunch of stuff before you're actually permitted to go on the grounds. We're at one of two places that we load at. I'm already carded over at the other rack, which means I can load fuel there on my own. Because of the holiday, Memorial Day weekend, and they've had some personnel issues at this other one, the second one that we load at. I've not been able to get my evaluation and my training done here to let me on the property. It's just a couple hours. You watch a couple videos and then they give you a quick, test. And once that gets done, I still have to stay with my trainer until I load at this facility 5 times. And it's usually even though I'll load here 2 or 3 times a day, you usually only get credit for 1 a day. So it'll probably take me another 5 days before I'm carded at this facility. But I'm really liking it, man. As much as I've loved, I don't have a lot of regrets in my driving career. I kind of wish I'd started doing this earlier. I mean, the money's ridiculously good, even for Florida, which notoriously pays crappy. So that's it. There'll be more to come. I can't really videotape anything in the facilities or on the truck, and I'll explain all that later. But that's my update, man. Stay tuned. I will shoot out some more videos once I get seated in my truck and I'm able to show you guys kind of what I'm doing now. But I dig it. Now, I'm on a Costco dedicated. That's all we do, which I'm happy about. One of the reasons I chose here, because it's big open areas to unload. Where you drop the fuel is a whole different area than where the cars are coming in and out. Just more room. I just didn't want to be down in Florida in some tight little bodega gas station with people running around me trying to, run over my cones and run me over and all that. So that's it, man. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and hope all's well. Peace.